Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Hello and welcome to this varsity soccer matchup. St. Chris taking on John Paul the Great. St. Chris is coming into this matchup ranked #1 in the state, even following that 4-0 loss to Benedictine. Benedictine, after the most recent rankings, has been ranked at 7th, which is interesting to see. So the Saints are out on the field, huddling up. Looks like they are almost ready to go. John Paul is still on the sideline, but any second they should come out to start this matchup. So the Saints coming into this matchup with a 10-2-1 record. Last game was a win on their homecoming night, which they played Veritas, and they have had one of the more difficult schedules in Virginia too. So looking at a pretty strong team here as John Paul finally coming out, and John Paul is outside the top 10. So the Saints are pretty heavily favored in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game, Hill. I mean, we've heard a lot out through the week of some possible injuries that might prohibit some starting players from not playing this game. But it seems that all starters are on the field and that everyone's ready.
Yeah, a couple players the Saints were missing during that Benedictine game. Son Olsen was out with a concussion. He's back in, and making his return today is Evan Broughton, number 4, a huge piece on that Saints defense. And there was Son Olsen helping poke that one out, and now Overstreet has it, taking his time with it. So John Paul is ranked 20th in the state. And kind of at that point in the season where that's mostly accurate, you know, that's the start once there's been 3 or 4 games played. It's hard to judge teams, but I feel like we're at that point in the season. Pretty much every team has played double-digit games, so it's pretty easy to evaluate just how good all these teams are. And here could be a fast break. John Paul got some momentum going there. The Saints did not have many players back on defense, but Colin Weiss takes that one in after Carson Stalker managed to box out the attacking player.
Very calm play here from the Saints backfield. A lot of back and forth, looking for options. Not very aggressive here in the beginning of this game. Always looking for that long ball as Carson sends it out to Tyler Overstreet.
And Kehoe racing for that one, gets slide tackled. That was number 24, Lucas Jefferson, for John Paul with an impressive takeaway. And there's Jefferson again out on that wing, making a short pass over to Velez. And Overstreet runs in to take that one. And a long pass upfield is looking for Gordon Neer, but unfortunately that pass is cut off. And Josu Ayala was taking his time with that, gets it to Jefferson. And gives it back to his goalkeeper. That's Rocco Russo.
Cleared that by Tyler Overstreet. Jump ball through in.
So throw in is going to be taken by Jefferson. Already had the ball a lot here in the early game. It gives it to Stalker. Being chased down. His man overruns it though. Toby Obasi was on that, but just overran it. And a nice pass there, trying to get it to Cole Butler. Fortunately, not quite where it needed to be. As Broughton takes us past the side of the field to get R.J. Johnson.
Corner for the Saints. Mason Groom letting it out there. Solid defender. Just got a foot on it and just let it go. Saw opportunity for a set piece for the Saints here.
And the pass is up. Looks like I think Overstreet got a head on it. And the Saints swarmed the ball there, and it's a very high pass. Got it off to Anthony Frantantillo. And out on the wing, John Paul trying to make a shot, and it is poked out there. Stalker and Johnson were both on it. I think it was Stalker that managed to poke it out. And it will be a corner kick taken by number 7 for John Paul. That's Sebastian Indarcochia taking it from the right side of the field. And the header is over the goal. Toby Obasi got a solid contact on it and was in the right place, but unfortunately it just went too high. And the Saints offense not quite playing as aggressive as we usually see them in the beginning of these games. Stalker brings it up the right side of the field, makes a pass out to the left to Broughton. Broughton gets it to Kehoe. Kehoe weaving in between defenders and back to Broughton. Gets it to Overstreet. Gets it to Olsen. And a long pass upfield is looking to get Gordon Neer. Gordon Neer doesn't get it. And that ball is deflected way upfield. It was Chase Bierlin trying to get a shot off. And that pass was intercepted there by Broughton. Tripped up a little bit with Zelaya. And Kehoe gets Gordon Neer that pass. Gordon Neer makes a pass, unfortunately. It looked like that pass was to number 14, Mason Groom. And Groom just couldn't quite catch up with it. He looks real frustrated with that one. That is a bit of a blown opportunity here early for the Saints.
Yeah, Mason's really disappointed with that one. I was disappointed. That could have been a clear breakthrough for the Saints in this first half here. 6 minute mark just would have been amazing to get that momentum up.
Yeah, I could not quite tell with the angle from up here, but it looked like to me it was pretty close. And judging by his reaction, I think he certainly thought it was within his range.
It might have even been a save there from John Paul's goalie there.
Yep, and
Comes driving
Olsen
in.
gets a bit of a breakaway and gets it off to Groom, who's tripped up, and they blow the whistle for that. Sorry, not Groom, Bierlin. It was Bierlin who gets tripped up. So this will be a free kick for the Saints. And it looks like either Olsen or Gordonier will take it. I believe Gordonier will take it for the Saints. Olsen is in a different position now. Olsen running to the right, and Gordonier takes it, and Gordonier, I think he missed right there, was a powerful shot, had that left curve on it, but unfortunately that one will go to the right of the goal, land behind the net.
Yeah, it looked amazing from our angle up here. I mean, perfect curve on that shot and just slightly past the post. Did not get it in the top corner there.
Yeah, so that's two opportunities for the Saints. That one, I think that's a hard shot to make, so I wouldn't be too upset about that one. But here's Gordonier again, drilling past defenders, gets it to Overstreet, gets it to Olsen. Olsen took a shot there, unfortunately just right to the goalie.
Slow, low shot there, maybe trying to confuse the goalie, but the goalie was not phased.
Yeah, so Rocco Russo just fell on that one with ease, and that one will be taken in by Colin Weiss. Ball went up a little too far for John Paul to make a play on it. As here's Stalker making a pass to Broughton. So some conservative passes there in the backfield. Looks like generally they like to give it to Broughton and give him a chance to set his players up with the downfield pass. Stalker will do it this time. Looking for Kehoe, a nice pass. Unfortunately, Kehoe just couldn't quite get the touch on that. It's a hard ball to control, but an excellent pass upfield.
Yeah, that touch would have been perfect, but just a bit too much.
Said his name this match. Gives it to R.J. Johnson. The pass a little too far in front of Johnson.
Yeah, it's not common that we don't say his name pretty early on in these streams.
Yep. R.J. Johnson, a man of many names up here. I've accidentally called him R.J. Harvey and A.J. Johnson plenty of times. That's not his name. It's R.J. Johnson. He's neither an NBA player or an NFL player. Maybe one day, but right now he is R.J. Johnson for the Saints. So here's Broughton making a pass out to that wing to Overstreet, who's playing pretty far up. And couldn't quite make a play on that one. As he fall forward a little bit with Josu Ayala. And a bit of a scrap for that one that looked like Kehoe was trying to win that one. And he will be off of John Paul. And the header from Olsen off target. I think he's trying to make a head pass there to Bierlin. And here's Cole Butler. Put the moves on. Blocked up a little bit there, though, and makes a pass back upfield to Broughton. So there's Johnson. The Saints now looking to drive onto the goal. And the pass is, I think that was a pass. I think he's trying to get it to Kehoe to set up a header there. Unfortunately, it's too far to the right, and it goes right into the hands of Russo. That also could have been a shot. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think that was a cross there, looking for someone in the box, but just easy interception from the keeper.
And Overstreet gets his head on that. It goes way far right of the goal.
Yeah, looks like it was Chase Bierlin there, looking maybe to pass to Lucas Gordonier, but you never know. Maybe he's just trying to go for himself.
Yeah, it's always hard to control those headers, especially from kicks that go up high like that. But the Saints putting some more pressure on this John Paul team, which you love to see. And that pass up goes to not quite to midfield, and the Saints control it for now. And here is Bjerlin showing off his speed a little bit, gets it to Butler, and Bjerlin gets it to Kehoe. Kehoe fighting for it as Olsen comes in to help, but unfortunately couldn't keep it. And now here is a pass that is too far. Was looking for number 5, Obasi. Couldn't quite find him and is taken in by Colin Weiss. And there's Butler making the pass off. Back to Stalker. And Olsen makes that light pass to Broughton, who curves that pass up to Groom. Groom can't quite control it.
That was a majestical through ball there, to Mason Groom.
Yeah, for sure.
That's perfect.
Broughton is an excellent passer, especially in those situations where he's playing up high. So, unfortunately, that's another borderline opportunity, and here is an easy goal for John Paul.
Oh.
And it looks like Colin Weiss just made a mistake there. I'm not sure entirely, but I think Weiss thought he had an easy take in and came up to take the ball in, but
decided to then kick it.
Yeah, it's deflected. That's just a bad break for the Saints, and now John Paul, interestingly enough, leads 1-0, but the game is still early.
Yeah, not what we wanted for the Saints there, but now they just have to fight back.
And I have done a lot of these home games for the Saints, and I cannot remember too many times where they have let up a goal without scoring one first. So we are waiting for the goalie kick here for Russo to take this one. And he makes that light pass over to his defender there, close on that right side of the field. And I imagine we'll see the Saints try and ramp up the pressure a little bit now that they're down, try and get some offensive momentum here. And Olsen makes that through ball to Gordonier. Gordonier pokes it out of that pressure and gets it to Overstreet, and it is poked out away from him by Josu Ayala. And Olsen tries to get the pass off for the header, and unfortunately Mason Groom just cannot quite get his head on that one. And yet another opportunity for the Saints that unfortunately will not turn into a goal. I think that's Overstreet up to take it. As the player is now getting into position. Saints look like they have everybody past midfield. RJ Harvey is the furthest back, and he's past midfield, so really hoping for some offensive production here. And now they will have to rush to correct that as John Paul managed to come away with that one. And that through pass is taken away by Stalker, and Baratin putting that one up in the air. And Stalker pokes it out. A smart move with, I believe it was Obasi right on him. And Olsen misses that kick. And it's John Paul now deep into Saints territory, and that shot is just off target. Bounces off the top crossbar, and the Saints narrowly avoid getting into a 2-0 deficit. A sigh of relief for the Saints there. As here's Broughton taking it up the left side to Olsen. Olsen gets the through ball, and Sean Paul has plenty of guys up there on offense. As here's Weiss. Weiss comes out to take it in. Pressure was on him by Josu Alaya. And here's Cade Cox, the speedster. He does keep that one in bounds. And it's poked out. But the Saints will get a throw in, which will be taken by Overstreet. And throws it up in the air and is immediately just kicked back out. Not sure exactly who got their foot on that for Jean Paul, but just cleared it out, and I believe that's another throw-in, unless it was past that marker, in which case it was a corner kick. But yeah, it will just be a far-up throw-in. As Overstreet is being forced back up field by a couple of defenders. Number 23 and 24, Ayala and Jefferson right on that. And Overstreet again doing some of the heavy lifting there on that side of the field. Cole puts some moves on him. And that pass not going very far. John Paul has it now. And going to blow the whistle on that one. I believe that's going to be a free kick for John Paul. I think they're going to say that Cole Butler pushed him. It's a free kick, I believe, will be taken by Massimo Velez, the midfield senior. And 20 minutes into this game, the Saints still down 1-0. So Velez takes the kick. It is up to almost into the box, not quite. But John Paul gets a second breath here as Carithers tries to make a slide tackle. And Butler almost trips him. And the pass leads to a shot that will not go in, as now Overstreet trying to chase him down. And I believe they're calling an offsides penalty on John Paul to stop that drive. So here's Olsen at midfield. Makes a pass, and it's a little too far for Cade Cox. And it'll be another throw-in. Ball goes right back to John Paul, who has, credit to John Paul, they have really dominated possession in this game. So we are waiting the goalie kick from Russo. Apologies. Waiting the goalie kick from Russo, who makes that pass just past midfield. Impressive kick there. And the Saints again trying to rush back to defense, and Stalker trips up a little bit, managing to poke it out. And the whistle is blown there. They're going to give it back to Stalker. They think that the contact there to put Stalker on the ground went past what is legal. So Broughton makes a nice pass over to Cox. A nice move by Cox, putting that up in the air and retaining possession. And Cole Butler tries to get a shot off.
A knuckleball there from Cole. You saw the movement of the ball there. Just a bit high, but would have been perfect if it was a bit lower there.
I think it is high and to the right. Just could not. I think he was trying to put some spin on it and curve it, and just could not get that touch on it. So Saints miss another shot attempt. And Johnson takes it away and pokes it out of that part of the field. And I believe it was put out by John Paul. And it was. So Johnson makes the pass in. And he got it right to Dano, who just headed it out of bounds. The Saints really got to start putting pressure on him here, as Olsen cannot quite keep that one. An impressive slide tackle there, and they love to put it downfield to try and get Obasi. That time it will not work. So Butler has it at about midfield, looking for a pass here, and takes the easy one over to RJ Johnson. And we are nearly 25 minutes into this game. Saints still down 1-0. And Broughton bringing it up. He's past midfield now, so that's their best defender up onto the offensive side of the field. As Cox tries to get that through ball and is just a little too far. Was looking for Hayes Carruthers to give him an easy shot there, but unfortunately it's right into the hands of Russo. And that ball is again just past midfield to the head of Sutton Olsen. And it's taken away. The Saints running back on defense, trying to catch up with that one. RJ Johnson kicks it upfield, an impressive upfield kick by Johnson. And trying to get it, they tried to get it to Obasi, and it did not quite work out. The pass was just too high and too far, and Weiss took that one in. And it's Broughton. He passes it to midfield to Cole Butler. And he makes a long pass up to Gordonier, who I would love to see get the ball a little more here for the Saints, now that they're in that deficit. And that ball again to Obasi is poked out by Stalker. Obasi's getting the ball in that spot there a lot, right in front of the box and about the middle of the field. But he has not had a ton of help with him the last couple of times we've seen him in that position.
Yeah, he's pretty much like a solo man up there, putting on the pressure himself, getting the ball himself, just doing everything himself up there. I mean, he's doing good at it. He's putting the pressure on the Saints, and yeah,
I
can't forget about him.
believe that was him with the goal off of the deflected pass, or deflected kick from Weiss. So that pass upfield was looking for Carruthers. Carruthers has it, tries to make a pass to, looking for Dano. And Carruthers slid for it. They blow the whistle. I think they're going to call this a free kick. I'm not 100% sure. No, they're going to give it back to John Paul's goalkeeper. So Russo again will have another goalie kick, he said. Quite a few of those this game. And the pass is right off the head of Son Olsen, as Cole Butler manages to box out Rafael Zelaya. And RJ Johnson up the right side, using his speed a little bit, gets that one to Carithers. Carithers trying to make something happen, but loses control of it. And again, the ball goes back to John Paul. So that passes to Stalker. Stalker passes it, I believe that's Groom up there, who makes a pass to the middle of the field, gets it to Gordon Neer, and Keogh trying to take a shot. Too many guys around him. Gordon Neer has it. Gordon Neer, and his shot is just off wide left. And the Saints miss another shot. Still down 0-1. Almost 30 minutes into this game. There is about a minute 20 to go till that 30-minute mark, but it will be a corner kick, and it will be a short one to Kehoe to try and set up something here, and it will not work out. And John Paul kind of messes that one up with a bad pass there, as Butler down the field. Butler over to Gordon Neer. Gordon Neer makes a chip pass, which unfortunately does not do much there. And so here is Rickards. Sorry, Dano, not Rickards. So Broughton over to Olsen. And that is a long pass. I think he was looking to switch the field a little bit and get that over to Overstreet, but it's off target there. So Broughton makes a pass to Stalker to put that at about in the middle of the field. And Broughton crosses over a little bit. Broughton tries to get a shot off, and Evan Broughton almost puts it in.
Beautiful. Wow.
But the Saints retain possession. No, they will not. They will unfortunately lose that to John Paul. Evan Broughton, Saints' best defender, almost gets a goal, and unfortunately, it is just off the top of the crossbar. So kind of an eye for an eye there, as John Paul had a similar miss that just bounced off the top from one of their strikers earlier in the game. And trying to get a good angle, not quite able to do so. It was number 11, Anthony Fratantonio. Fratantonio, I believe is how you pronounce it. So he's poked out by Fred Antonio. That one's going to go back to John Paul. And Broughton takes that left pass over to Overstreet. Broughton taking a bit of an offensive role here in this game. Really trying to put pressure, but unfortunately has not been really able to do that in this game. The Saints offense has a couple of shots, but most of them have been off target and taken from pretty far out. So they haven't done a great job of putting pressure on this John Paul defense and really, I mean, it really seems like John Paul has controlled the pace of the game, which is something the Saints have really done great all season. But unfortunately, just haven't really been able to do it here. And we'll slit there. And Reed puts, I thought that one went out of bounds, and I think they say it did. And it will be a throw-in for John Paul as Fred Antonio tries to get that pass to Obasi. And looks like Johnson got put on the ground there. And got put on the ground by Tyler Turch, who helped them up. And they are going to say the contact was a bit much and give it to the Saints. So Olsen makes a pass off to Overstreet. He gets it to Kehoe. Kehoe, it is deflected and not quite stayed in bounds. Jefferson tried to keep it in bounds there and couldn't quite do it. Olsen looking for a pass, just gives it back to midfield as Reed makes a pass to Johnson. And this John Paul defense has looked airtight today.
Yeah, they're going for a really packed back line when they're in their quarter of the field. Really making all the midfielders come back to the back line and letting the box not be an easy target for the Saints.
Yeah, and that was a dangerous situation for the Saints. Obasi, if he had been a couple of feet up, that could have been a goal. But unfortunately for John Paul, the pass was just a little too far in front of him. As now the Saints recalibrate a little bit and get some passes going on that backside of the field. Is a through ball looking for Kehoe, and Russo comes out and takes that one in for John Paul. As we are just about at the 36-minute mark, so 9 minutes plus whatever extra time we have in this first half. I don't believe we have too much extra time on the clock. Hasn't been a ton of stoppage this game. Broughton gets that one to Olsen, and Olsen makes a long upfield pass to Groom. A beautiful pass by Olsen. As Groom putting the moves on him, Groom still has it running circles and put on the ground. Olsen comes in to take it, but unfortunately, Fred Antonio does a great job of holding on to that one. And it is poked out, I believe, by Olsen, who looks like he's got something going on with his back.
Holding his back, maybe got an elbow to the back there.
And again, the ball goes back to John Paul. And Jefferson throws it in. A long one off the head of Overstreet, who tries to get it off to spot where Olsen can take it. And it's Johnson passing it up to Bjorlin. Bjorlin can't quite hold on to it there. It's taken away from him. And the pass, another pass that's just too long for Obashi, sorry. And we have seen that a lot today. It's Broughton climbing upfield, and he almost gets a great pass off to, I believe, that was number 25, Noah Dano. Unfortunately, just a couple guys around him to stop that from happening. Here's Broughton. And almost out of bounds, but kept in by number 23, Ayala. And here's Kehoe. Kehoe makes a man miss. Kehoe tries to get a pass off, and a nice slide tackle to stop that one from progressing any further. But the Saints will have the corner kick. It will be Lucas Gornier from the right side. And let's see what the Saints trying to do here. Again, everybody past midfield. This time it's Reed back, and Broughton all the way up, almost into the box is Broughton, along with most of his teammates. And it will not do much for the Saints, as it is too low to make anything of it. And John Paul has a pass open, gets it, and the shot is taken and missed by Joseph Uyala. He missed it wide left. And the Saints again catch a bit of a break, making some subs here. We've got Butler back in. Butler and Carruthers back in for Kehoe and Dano, and Stalker in for Reed. As here is Carson Stalker, sorry. And that one is kept in with a nice touch by Overstreet. Olsen gets a nice pass off. A nice slide tackle, though, and poked out. I thought that was off of John Paul, but it will be off of the Saints. And that ball is cleared up, and Broughton catches up with it. Can Broughton keep it in, though? He cannot. And the throw-in will be taken by Ayala, who it's a little off target. Again, Broughton trying to keep it in, cannot. The Saints cannot avoid the corner kick. And John Paul will be taking it. I believe it's number 19, Emilio Najaro, to take it for John Paul from that left side. He's got Velez right off to that left side. And the kick is low and in front of the box. And Butler falling on it to get it back away.
Amazing play by Butler there.
And the Saints trying to use their speed. Olsen with an incredible play there that unfortunately cannot be taken advantage of. Olsen made a beautiful poke out to Carruthers, But unfortunately, Critters used that touch, and I think they got called for. No, they didn't get called for offsides as the Saints have the ball. And looks like Cole just got swarmed on that play. And cleared way up and a little too far as Weiss takes it in. And Broughton out on the left side, back to Stalker. Back to Broughton. Broughton gets a pass upfield to the speedster, Cade Cox. And Cox has it deflected, but it will be a throw-in for the Saints. And Overstreet will take it. So Tyler Overstreet makes a pass, and unfortunately they lose it. So Broughton takes it again. Broughton has played a lot past midfield, a lot more than he usually does. And there's not much time left on the half. So the Saints, if they want to tie it up before halftime, will have to do that very quickly with about a minute and a half left till the 45-minute mark. Not sure we'll be seeing much extra time for the first half. And John Paul is a player down on the field. He's back up now. And now it's John Paul trying to make something happen before the half. As Stalker playing defense. Stalker takes it away. I did not see that much contact there. But they will call Stalker for it. And it will be a free kick for John Paul. As about 45 seconds left to go in the half, plus extra time. I'm not sure I would have made that call based on the precedent they've been setting with the contact they've allowed. But the free kick is headed out there by Butler. As Gordonier makes a pass over to Olsen, who makes a pass over to Overstreet. 20 seconds left. Overstreet the pass. Cade Cox out on the left side, racing to keep up with it. And Cox makes that pass over to Bjurlin. Bjurlin makes a pass over to Butler. Butler looking for something. Butler, I think he tried to make a shot there that didn't quite work out. As we are on the 45-minute mark. And they will play some extra time. So Cox using his speed. And it is taken in. Probably the last shot we'll see of the half. Another one taken in by Russo, the goalkeeper, as this kick is now skied up. And Butler playing with some urgency here as he gets to pass off to Carithers, who gets it to Johnson. Back to Stalker. Stalker puts one way upfield, looking for Gordonier. Couldn't quite find him, and that would do it for the first half. The Saints down 0-1 against John Paul the Great as we head into halftime. Welcome back to this varsity soccer matchup. The Saints trailing 0-1 as we enter the second half. Looking to put some pressure on them early here. And we apologize for the technical difficulties we're having. We are working to resolve them and get our camera up and working. As that one is poked out towards RJ Johnson. And Johnson makes a short pass over to Stalker. And Broughton takes that throw in from Overstreet. And Stalker makes that pass over to Olsen. Olsen over to Bjurlin. Bjurlin with a nice cut there. And he makes a pass into, and it rolls in off the deflection. Gordonier ties it up early in this second half. A minute and 15 seconds in.
That is amazing for the Saints right there. That's exactly what they needed to start off this half very strong.
Yeah, so looked like Gordonier got it from that pass. They just finally managed to get through that back line of John Paul. And the goalie, I think he got his body on it, but it just rolled right through. There's enough spin on it to keep it rolling. So the Saints tie things up in a game that I'm sure they were frustrated to be down in at halftime. I'm sure Coach Wood had a lot to go over, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And so Bjurlin again putting the pressure on him over to Johnson. Johnson makes that short pass over to Groom, who gives it back to Stalker. Stalker makes that pass over to Cole Butler. And Butler makes a nice pass over to Groom. Would have liked to see John Paul's defenders move a little more on that one. And Saints continue with that pressure. Unfortunately, can't make anything out of that one, but it looks like they'll get the ball back for Stalker. And unfortunately, they will not. Stalker couldn't quite keep it as there's pressure on him from Indokachia. And now it's John Paul's turn to put pressure on him, but a slide tackle. I believe it's Evan Braun there with the slide tackle. And he will kick it upfield. And a lot of energy here from the Saints coming into the second half. It's over to Jefferson out on that right side. Makes a pass over to Ayala. As Olsen driving up, finds that pass over to Kehoe. Kehoe. And unfortunately, the pass over to Olsen caused a bit of a turnover there. So Stalker bringing it about to midfield. Not much pressure on him. He's got plenty of time to make a pass. And finally, Indokachia put the pressure on him. Gets the pass off. And Gordonier slips through a guy. Gordonier looking for another goal. And Gordonier's shot is just left. An unfortunate miss there. But Gordonier with 2 shots through the defense early in the second half. First one went in. The second one will unfortunately be left. As Jefferson will make the throw in deep into John Paul's side of the field as the Wolves try and take some pressure off their defense. And that will not happen for now. Gordonier trying to slip through. Gordonier, can he get to it before the goalkeeper? He cannot. Try to put an extra touch on it to get through him. And the goalkeeper is Diego Hernandez Duarte, who is now in the place of Rocco Russo. got that one first. So here's Overstreet making the pass. Tried to get it to Gordonier again. Couldn't quite. Just a little too far in front of him, and Damian Ramirez got there first. Just waiting for Keogh to get his shoe tied here. And then we'll resume with a throw-in from Overstreet. So Butler has it. He passes it across the field to Stalker. And Stalker will give it right back to Broughton. It's interesting to see how far up and how aggressively they've used Broughton. He's usually an anchor on that defense. He has taken up a bit of an offensive role tonight along with that defensive responsibility. And that will be a corner kick, I believe, for the Saints. It will. It was poked out there by Anthony Fratantonio. And it will be Overstreet coming in to take it from that left side. Saints have, looks like Groom and Olsen in the box. Groom right there with the goalkeeper, along with number 18, Jelani Epi for John Paul. So a lot of guys just outside the box, and the pass will be close, and unfortunately, that one will not result in a goal, but Butler makes a nice effort, a hurry play over to get that one and stop it from going out of bounds. As the through ball is cleared out, was looking to find another opportunity there with Gordonier. It was poked out by Jelani Epi, the defender. And fighting for it is Groom and Fratantonio as the ball is cleared out by Fratantonio and taken by Stalker. He's got it about midfield, passes it to the middle to Broughton. Passes it over to the left side to Overstreet. A lot of lateral movement here. And here comes Johnson. Johnson dribbling through defenders. Johnson gets it to Olsen. An impressive behind the back pass. And it, unfortunately, Bjurlin couldn't quite handle the pressure that they were putting on him there. But it will be a throw in. And they're going to let Bjurlin take this one. Bjurlin throws it up high. I think he's looking for Gordonier, but gets a header on it. They're going to call him for contact there. Had a bit of a jump ball there with Fratantonio that he won, but Fratantonio went down, and they said he just initiated too much contact on that one. So Massimo Velez is going to kick it upfield and gives it just past midfield, and Broughton races to put his head on that one. John Paul recovers, though, as Indokochia takes it, fighting with Johnson. Johnson manages to get a pass off through that contact. Gives it to Broughton, and Broughton gives it right back, as that's a big pass upfield, and Gordonier takes it, had to adjust a little bit, and unfortunately couldn't quite keep it.
Very quick back and forth play here from the Saints and John Paul. I mean, they're really just fighting for that next goal and not trying to let any time pass between it.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is half that the Saints have finally started to control the pace of the game and speed things up, which is something they've been doing all season, and they are a hard team to beat when they can do that. And right now, I think the possession and the number of opportunities has certainly been in the favor of the Saints so far in the second half. And, of course, they had Gordonier get that goal, so the second half is looking pretty good for the Saints so far. So that ball goes out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in from Fratantonio. Olsen passes it to about the middle of the field over to Butler. Butler makes a great pass to Keogh. Keogh putting the moves on him. Keogh unfortunately couldn't keep that one, and it will be taken in by Hernandez Duarte. So Hernandez Duarte is going to punt it upfield and just past midfield, and it is couldn't quite get controlled by Overstreet, but here is Keogh, not Keogh. Yeah, that was Broughton. That was Broughton who ran back to get that one. And the Saints get possession back as it is out of bounds on St. John Paul the Great. And Overstreet makes a throw in to Olsen, who could not quite get the right touch on it. It's a tough ball, but they're going to give it back to the Saints. I think that's maybe an offsides call. Olsen was under a lot of pressure there by Obasi, but managed to get that pass off, and the Saints keep it. As Stalker makes his defender miss, and Olsen out to the left side of the field. It's Cox, and Cox could not keep possession on it as it is taken away there by Velas. And that pass just too far, was looking for Indokochia, could not find him. And it's Overstreet with it on that left side of the field. And Cox trying to use his speed here to get past his defender. Can't quite do it. I think it's a corner kick. I think that was off of John Paul. And it will be. So Lucas Gordonier, Lucas Gordonier will not take it. It's Overstreet again. It's a throw-in, excuse me, not a corner kick. As here is Cox. Can't quite get the shot off. Olsen tripping up a little bit and is forced to give it back to Broughton there. And Butler, his pass is just off. I think he tried to work around that defender and could not quite get an accurate pass off to Carruthers. But the Saints playing with a renewed energy here. And Hernandez Duarte kicks it upfield. And Johnson gets that first touch off it. Gets off to Butler. And Olesen put the moves on him. And then pass back to Olesen. And unfortunately, the Saints cannot quite hold on to it, but it is put out of bounds. I believe that was Jelani Epi who put it out of bounds. And another throw-in for the Saints as tries to get the through ball, and Carruthers just shy of getting a header off. Extra inch or two would have helped him out there. And Olesen dribbling through a couple guys, taken away by Epi, who makes Carruthers miss, but can't do that without getting it out of bounds. And the Saints have spent a long time now on John Paul's side of the field. And playing physical with Olsen, and he is boxed out there. Johnson is boxed out by Indokochia. And again, Hernandez Duarte will have to kick it upfield for the Wolves. As we approach the 60th minute of this soccer game. And that was about right up to the middle of the field, and I believe Butler got the head on it. And kept it in the air for a while. Couple of heads on that one, couldn't keep it, John Paul. And I think Olesen thought that Carruthers was going to be somewhere a little further up that field. And a trip up there, Overstreet just ran in to get that and couldn't, so he slipped a little bit, trying to get it from Massimo Velas. And Butler takes it away there. So Gordonier has it at midfield, getting through a couple of defenders, gets a pass off to Carithers out on that left side. Right side for the Saints. Carithers making a pass to Gordonier. Gordonier taking a shot, and it is taken in by Hernandez Duarte. I believe that is Gordonier's 4th shot of the game. He scored one. One was off target, and the other 2 taken in by the goalkeeper. And it is out of bounds on John Paul. And it'll be a goalie kick for Weiss. So Broughton dribbling upfield, playing a little slower here as players walking a bit. And I think he's trying to get a pass off. I think he might have been trying to get that pass off to Cox. Unfortunately, it was too far up the field. Is Fernando Duarte's going to take another kick? He has had to do a lot of that in this second half. And it is up to midfield. And Overstreet has it, gives it back downfield to number 4. Evan Broughton is number 4. And tries to get that chip through, and can't quite, as number 18, Jelani Epi, takes it and puts it right out of bounds. And R.J. Johnson will take this one, and Epi flew in there trying to get it and could not quite, but it goes out of bounds off the throw-in. And Cox outstretches his legs. Cox takes a shot, and it's just way high and to the right. And Cox gets a shot off from about halfway in between midfield and the box, but just off target. Too much juice on it. And again, Hernandez Duarte will kick it off. Been putting them all around midfield a little closer. So then the Saints have quite a few guys there. Both teams do, for that matter. And Dano gets the pass out to Cox. Back to Dano. Back to Cox. And Cade Cox making a couple guys miss here. Cox tries to get it out of the quarter. He's buried in there by a couple of defenders. He goes down. Gets right back up. Butler has it. Close to the box, not quite there. And Bjorlin tried to get a shot off and couldn't quite as he was reaching his foot back. Looks like Leila's got his foot in there and deflected it. And that one is skied by Broughton. Over to Cox's direction. Cox couldn't quite haul it in, but he's putting pressure on that defender. And Overstreet tries to get that through ball through, not quite with the right curve, and the shot is just right for 25, Noah Dano. And Hernandez Duarte will again kick it upfield. Duarte's his kick is just left of the middle of the field and taken by Mason Groom, and it is poked out. I think that was off. Yeah, they're going to say it was off Groom. I think he deflected it before it went out, and Fred Antonio will take this one. Antonio makes the throw in. Stalker gets a move on him, but they blow the whistle there. And RJ Johnson will take it. Back to Olsen. Olsen fakes his defender out a little bit with that pass. And that pass is way upfield looking for Kehoe. And Daniel Kehoe back to Overstreet. Overstreet got a nice knuckleball off, but unfortunately Hernandez Duarte was right there to take it in. Almost slipped up a little bit, and he had Gordon right in front of him, but managed to haul it in. And Stalker making Obasi trip up a little bit. And Kehoe up the middle, trying to get the pass off. Kehoe to Gordon Neer, and gets a pass off, and it is not going to go in. Groom ran in to try and beat the goalkeeper there, and he did, but it goes up, and he's on the ground, but helped up by John Paul. So that's some nice sportsmanship there by Hernandez Duartes and Epi. Both have been great tonight, and they helped Groom get up on his feet there. And Hernandez Duarte boosts it upfield again. And they have had a hard time keeping it off their side of the field in the second half. Was not a problem for them in the first half. And that one's out of bounds. Epi ran in to try and stop that from happening, but his touch wasn't quite what it needed to be. Groom, short pass over to Olsen. I thought he was going to make a longer one there, but Olsen falling over a little bit. Some physical play there with Fratantonio. And the kick is right where it usually is. A little further than where it usually is, but nevertheless, Olsen brings it in. Can't quite keep it, but poked out there. A nice job by Bierlin. And Bierlin gets it over to Olsen. Sorry, Olsen gets it to Broughton. Broughton marching upfield. The defender, again, taking on that offensive role, and I believe that would be a corner kick for the Saints, which it looks like Lucas Gordonier is coming up to take from the left side of the field. And Gordonier just takes it for himself. Or, sorry, gives it over to Kehoe. And tries to get a shot through. Can't quite. Had a couple defenders blocking out that angle, and Hernandez Duarte gets it. Was on target off the bounce off the defender, but just rolled into Hernandez Duarte's hands. Groom gets a pass off to RJ Johnson as we approach the 70th minute of this game. And Bierlin desperately trying to get that one. Some more physical play. Sounds like some people on the... sounds like some of the spectators wanted a whistle there. But was not going to find one from the ref, and I would agree with that. No call there. Don't think there's anything egregious there, and they've been letting them play pretty physical. Hernandez Duarte boots it upfield. And John Paul almost controlled that one. But they blow the whistle. And it is Olsen Gonna take this one. And he gets it off to Broughton. So less than 20 minutes left to play. And the way the Saints have been looking on offense this second half, I think they are very intent on taking a lead. And that one is put out maybe about 30 feet from that corner. And he takes a throw and is booted upfield. And Olsen was looking for. Olsen was looking for. Looked like he was looking for Cash Kisner there. But the pass was just a little short. But it will result in a corner kick, which will be taking on Gordon Neer. He's got Kehoe close to him right there, just a little bit upfield. And Overstreet right in the box of the defender. And here comes Broughton to try and take the lead. And I thought the ball went in, but they did not say it did. I thought it crossed the line, and it very nearly did. But they're going to get another chance here. And I liked what we saw there from the Saints.
Wow, that was really close. I thought it was probably on the line, so probably what the ref thought as well, but if they could recreate that here, it would be amazing.
Unfortunately, they could not there. It's headed out, but Saints offense can have a second breath. Looking for Olsen. Olsen! Sudden Olsen with a header off of a beautiful pass. It was Cash Kisner with an amazing assist right where it needed to be. And the Saints crawl back to take the lead. 72 minutes plus some in this soccer match. That was just a beautiful play. Cash Kisner to the head of Sutton Olsen, who punches it in. And Cash Kisner is not a guy who's always seeing the field. He's a great depth piece, but you love to see a player come off the bench and make that kind of play. And that one really seemed to energize the Saints here as Kehoe tries to get a pass off, but could not quite put it where it needed to be. Overstreet putting the pressure on him, and Gordon Neer marching upfield. His ball is deflected off the defender, and the shot is taken and misleft. It was Noah Dano who couldn't quite get the angle on it. It was a tough one. He's pretty close to the goal. And Hernandez Duarte going to kick it upfield yet again for the Wolves. And Olsen putting his head on that. And Ayala tried to race in for that one. Couldn't get it, though. And I think he's looking for Kisner there, but ball curved left and did not end up where it needed to be. It went out of bounds for another goalie kick. So that kick is very low to the ground. Just did not have that touch there. Fortunately for John Paul, Saints just weren't in position to take advantage of that one. And Kehoe got right in front of that. And as Broughton with an impressive header that unfortunately is off of the position of, looked like he's looking for Chase Bierlin, and that one is skied. And John Paul putting some guys on offense here, couldn't keep it in bounds. I'm going to say it was off of RJ Johnson for the Saints. And that throw is taken by Velez. And some contact there. Not a single whistle there. So letting them play through some contact. And the Saints have a player down. I'm not sure exactly who that is over there, but he's holding his shin. It was after the contact. I think it might be Bjurlin down.
To be Carson Stalker.
Carson Stalker started this game back on defense. You really hope he's okay. You hate to see any player go down.
And that is a red card.
Put the red card, really? They put the red card on Epi, who has been pretty vital to the defense. I think the ref was probably about to yellow card him, and then he started talking, saying something. Because I'm not sure I saw enough on the initial contact for a red card. I don't think they did red card him. He's still in the game. But so I believe it's a yellow card, so that was our mistake. And I was about to say, I really don't think that was what he did was worthy of a red card at all. I believe a red card.
That was a red card. That was a red card for the attacker.
Oh, really? Who?
Number 25.
Number 25. So we are back. Apologies, technical difficulties there. The Saints putting some pressure on him. Carruthers has the ball, tries to get a shot. It's deflected. And Bjurlin turns it over. You know, people say AI is taking over the world, but technology is not always great at doing its job, so not so sure about that. But here we are approaching the 80th minute as Evan Broughton passes it over to that left side of the field for Overstreet. So it is Broughton there. Nobody near him. And
Letting
Saints.
the clock run a bit there.
Yeah, playing a little keep away here. And so fighting both teams making an effort for it as Overstreet gets the pass off to that is Gordonier. Gordonier trying to get through some defenders. He couldn't quite get past number 10. It was Massimo Velas, who poked it out, but it will be a Saints corner kick. And they very nearly scored off one earlier, and the one they took after that resulted in a goal after it was headed out. That was the assist from Cash Kisner to Sutton Olsen. And so Gordonier takes the kick. It is high, a little bit out of the box. Skied by Broughton. Broughton trying to get back on it. Boxed out by number 11, Anthony Fradantonio, who is not letting him get it back. And the Wolves goalkeeper, again, taking a kick upfield. And RJ Johnson puts his head on it. As Saints running back to on defense here and makes that pass back to Weiss. Try to put some pressure on Weiss there, but did not result in much as that one is headed out of bounds. And RJ Johnson will take the throw in. So I thought that one was off of Gordon Neer. I thought he headed it out, but I think they're going to say it's Epi. And that one is just going to go right back to John Paul, but Stalker manages to recover. And Stalker passes up to Olsen, who passes back to Stalker. And Overstreet back to Broughton there, making these conservative passes with a lead late in the game. So RJ makes a pass to Bjorlin. Bjorlin trying to get past him. Bjorlin with a through ball to Gordon Neer. Gordon Neer takes a shot and it's deflected. And it was off the body. Hernandez Duarte as he got on the ground to deflect that one. And I believe that is Gordon Neer's 5th shot of the day. The 3rd taken in by the goalkeeper. 2 of them were taken in by Hernandez Duarte. The other was in the first half. It's taken in by Rocco Russo. John Paul had that goalie switch at halftime. So the throw in, I believe that's Luke Schott taking the throw in. It is Luke Schott taking the throw in, and he immediately just booted by Damien Ramirez. And Cole gets it over to number 15, Colin Wishnack, and Wishnack fighting for it, and Overstreet back to Wishnack. Wishnack clears it, Cash Kisner again, and that one is put out by Anthony Fran-Antonio for a St. Christopher's corner kick. Overstreet comes up to take it. Overstreet setting it up real quick. Saints making adjustments. Nobody in the box for the Saints. Here is Lucas Gordon Neer to fill that. So Gordon Neer in the box for the Saints. Not somebody they want to let have it. And they boot that one in. And Broughton gets a head on it. And Broughton, Evan Broughton, the defender, playing all the way up. And makes this game 3-1, a 3-goal half for the Saints. As we are now into the 85th minute of the game. Less than 5 left to play plus extra time.
Really utilizing those positions there, those headers. We've seen that twice now in this half. It's really working for the Saints here, and it's a great way for them to score goals.
Yeah, you'd love to see Evan Broughton get a goal. As we discussed earlier, he's taking on a bit of an offensive role, but he's very much a defender. So I believe that was Olsen who went down on that play, and they're going to blow it dead. So Saints lead 3-1 in the 86th minute. Goals by Gordon Neer.
Just missed it.
As I was talking about the goals too, Gordon Neer had a goal. Son Olsen had one from the assist from Cash Kisner. And Evan Broughton, the defender, had one. And they have climbed back from that 1-0 deficit they went into halftime with. That's Hernandez Duarte's goalkeeper. Boots it up to about midfield. And just Son Olsen just skies it out of bounds. 3 minutes left to play here in this matchup. Fran Antonio makes a throw in. And the header is just going to turn the ball over right to Kisner. And the Saints have spent so much time in this second half on John Paul's side of the field. John Paul has just had trouble keeping the pressure off of them, as here's Overstreet. Overstreet putting the moves on him. Overstreet to Gordon Neer. Can't quite connect it, and Fred Antonio tried to kick it. He shanked it. And the Saints, again, putting pressure. Johnson putting pressure on him. I think they're calling it offsides there. So Fred Antonio is going to kick this one upfield for the Wolves. 2 minutes left. Butler controlling it with his chest there. Overstreet has it about midfield, just making these light passes to try and close out the game with that lead. So RJ Johnson tries to get a pass off, thread the needle there. Unfortunately, taken by defenders. Boxing out Cash Kisner. I thought that was off of John Paul, and that is what the official was saying, and it is a Cash Kisner throw-in. So Kisner makes that pass over to number 17, that's Townsend Sexton. And Anthony Fred Antonio again will kick it upfield for the Wolves. The Great Catholic Wolves is their official team name. Kicks it upfield. Olsen was there but couldn't get the head on it. And taken away there, that pass was intercepted by Luke's shot. And that one's going to go right back. Looks like it was Sexton on the play. Dribbling around a couple of guys. Here's Colin Wishnack, apologies. So Wishnack passes it back to Butler. As we are officially into extra time. Let's see how much they give. I don't think it's too much for this game. And Kisner passes it up. Kisner right back to him. He controls it. Kisner puts a little spin on it. Cannot quite control it. And a player is down on the field. I thought that whistle was about to signal the end of the game, but a player is down on the field. He is helped up by the referee. It was number 23, Josu Ayala, who gets right back up. Sebastian Ariete Inda Kochia, one of the longer names I've seen on the roster, is going to kick it upfield. And it is high and to the right of the field and past the player he's trying to get it to. I believe that was off the Saints, so I think they're going to give John Paul a corner kick. As the scoreboard shows 91.5 minutes. And that one's just going to go right out of bounds, right back to John Paul. And the throw-in is just turns it right back over, but unfortunately couldn't quite keep it with a touch. And Sexton tried to race for it, couldn't beat him though. And that will do it for this game. The Saints go down 1-0 in the first half and come back with a thunderous second half. 3-1 victory for the #1 ranked team in the state as they take down John Paul. We had goals from Sutton Olsen on an assist from Cash Kisner, a goal from Lucas Gordonier. That was the first one for the Saints. And lastly, believe it was Evan Broughton. That's who it was with the header, the defender. So our next stream will be Friday, 6:30 game, I believe. Another home game for the varsity football team under the lights as they take on Woodbury Forest, a big prep league matchup for them. And we hope we will see you then.